Hey kids, it's a Mr. Fly here, hope you're well. What a beautiful day for a change. It's actually 10 degrees or on the border of 11 degrees out here today, centigrade, which is absolutely toasty compared to of late. And it's a real treat to be out on the big beamer again and enjoying a bit of blue sky. It's quite rare of late round these parts. So I thought I'd come out on the bike. Haven't been out for a little while on this one. And well, really, I guess this could turn out as a bit of a rant because my subject of choice today is motorcycle insurance. Now, when I say that, does that fill you with terror, fear? Do you think, oh, insurance, that's good? Is that a subject that you really like? Or when you talk about bike insurance and you know, when it comes to renewal time, do you sort of think, oh God, here we go again? It's a bit of a nightmare. Well, stick around, stay tuned for the next couple of minutes, and I'll tell you my experience of insuring motorcycles and other things, but particularly in the case where you've got more than one bike and multi-bike insurance, what that's all about. Man, that sun is bright. Not complaining, just stating a fact. It's lovely. Got the bike in raid mode today though, because the old roads are particularly slippery. Anyway, insurance then. Now, I'm a lucky devil in that I've got more than one motorcycle. In fact, at the moment, I've got 4, all of which I ride on a fairly regular basis. So I need to get them all insured. Now, when I got the bikes, or when I just got more than one, I thought to myself, I know, I'll get one of those multi-bike insurances that you always see about. And that was absolutely fine for the first couple of bikes. And then when I got a third bike, I thought, I'll just pop that onto my policy. Phoned up the insurance company, who'll remain nameless for now, and said I'd like to add another bike to my policy, please. They asked me all the usual details, what the bike was, modifications, all that sort of stuff. It took absolutely ages. And then at the end of it, they said, sorry, we can't insure that bike on your multi-bike policy, but we can give you another policy, a different one, if you'd like. Well, that's no good, is it? So I said no thanks and moved on. So I went to another company and asked if I could insure 3 bikes on one policy, on their multi-bike policy. And they told me that unfortunately their multi-bike policy only meant 2 bikes. And that has been the case throughout. I have found insurance companies that will do more than 2 bikes, but they have to be the same type of bike. So so just a little word of warning there, certainly in the UK, if you think you can get a multi-bike policy with lots of bikes on it, it might be trickier than you think. So that's the first thing. They're not really multi-bike policies, they're 2-bike policies, or multi-bike if you've got the same bike 3 times, which is just crazy. So when I asked why I couldn't have 3 different bikes on the same policy, given I had a multi-bike policy, they said it's because the underwriters don't like to insure bikes of different types. So I think at the time I had my Street Triple, I think I had the GS, and I think I just got the Panigale, it might have been that. And it's the fact that they were different types of bikes, so a sports bike, an adventure bike, and a naked bike. They said if you'd got 2 sports bikes and you wanted another one, that wouldn't be a problem. It's just that you know, adding the Panigale or whatever I was trying to do was a different beast, different sort of animals to the ones I'd had previously. So that was a bit of a surprise to me. So in the end, I had to take out another insurance policy to cover that one bike. And then that's when the next kicker comes in, and the next bit of insurance company logic. Wow, it's blinding out here. They said, here's the policy, and it's X pounds, and it was very, very expensive compared to the policy that insured the existing 2 bikes. When I queried that, that was because the existing policy with the 2 bikes on, I had full no claims bonus. On the new policy, they couldn't carry that on because the other policy was still active. I wasn't allowed to use no claims bonus from that on the new policy. So I effectively had to start again with a much more expensive bike, which the Panigale was, and have no advantage of my no claims bonus. Absolutely ridiculous. So I put up with that for a while until it came to renewal time, and then I needed to add another bike onto my policy. Went through similar rigmarole, couldn't find anybody that would insure 4 different types of bike on the same policy. And similarly, they effectively had to reset the policy so that I had no claims on one of them, which just didn't make any sense whatsoever. In the end, I made a bit of a fuss and kicked up a stink, and in the end, because I've never claimed on any insurance policy of a motorcycle at all ever, and you know, I couldn't prove that, but I put they initially said, prove to us that you've never made a claim. Well, how are you supposed to do that? So anyway, I couldn't do that, but I obviously was not happy. And I put the onus on them and said, well, you prove to me that I have made a claim over the last 5 years or whatever it was, which of course they couldn't do. and I'd only been with that insurance company during that time. So anyway, long story short, in the end I got them to honour my no claims bonus across both policies. But isn't that just ridiculous? What a scam. So that's kind of the starting point of my whinge. I don't have a lot of luck with multi-bike policies. Maybe you do. I'd be interested to hear if you do have a genuine multi-bike policy and you've not had that sort of trouble. So while we're on the subject of whinging about insurance companies, the next whinge is actually getting quotes in the first place. You get all these online quote comparison things, which I have tried in the past, but I don't really trust them because, of course, the online quote comparison site must be making some money somewhere. So how can that possibly be the best deal they're offering you, because they must be getting commission. So I tend to go direct to the insurance company involved and get quotes, but gosh, it takes so long. And then they give you these stories, or they ask you questions that are actually irrelevant. So for example, one question they always used to ask me was, does your motorcycle have a tracker fitted? And at the time, I think it was when I had the Tiger 1050 in the Street Triple, they didn't have a tracker. So I said no, and that was fine, and that question kept coming up whenever I did renewals. And then I decided, with all this increase in theft, I thought I should have trackers fitted, so my bikes all have trackers fitted now. So when it came up for renewal time, I did the renewal, went through all the questions, and then noticed that my premium had gone up, even though I'd said that I now have a tracker fitted. And when I asked them, I said, look, I've had this tracker fitted, it's a proper Thatcham level 3, or whatever the gubbins is that you have to have. And they said, oh, we like to know that you've got it, but it doesn't actually make any difference to your premium. So, no, I didn't buy the tracker for the reasons of getting my insurance premiums down, but I did think, given they always asked that, it would make a difference, but it didn't make any difference. So that's another little whinget for you. And while I'm in this foul whinging mood, how long does it take you to get a quote for insurance? If you get your renewal notice through and it seems to have gone up a lot, it always goes up. It doesn't go down year on year, it goes up. Even though you haven't changed anything and you haven't had a claim, the insurance quote goes up. Very strange. So you feel sort of duty bound, you owe it to yourself to get some more quotes to see what's going on. It takes so much time. They're open 9 to 5 working hours. If you've got a job, whatever, not that easy to phone up, because you're on the phone for at least half an hour going through all the rigmarole of what the bike is, what modifications you've done to it, whether you've got a tracker or not. All that stuff takes ages. Then, if it's a multi-bike policy and you've got different types of bikes, they usually have to refer it to an underwriter. It takes time to come back, and it just takes so darn long to get a quote back, which you then find out is no better than the one you had anyway. So, like most people, I just take the lazy route, and I tend to just sign up year on year with the existing company. I'm sure I can get a better deal somewhere, but I tend not to find them because life's too short, isn't it, to get the quotes. Now, I've already mentioned that I'm a lucky devil because I've got lots of bikes. I'm also a lucky chap because I've never, touch wood, I'm touching my helmet now, I've never had to make a claim, as I said, on my bike policies, or indeed any insurance policy. So that's great news. But when you factor in the amount you spend on your insurance, it does make you wonder, doesn't it, whether it's a good policy in the first place. So now I'm talking insurance generally, not just motorcycles. Well, there are some insurances for vehicles, for example, that you have to have, but it does beg the question whether after a few years and you've kind of worked out the pattern of your motoring or riding, whether you should just go for the minimal insurance you can legally have, just get third-party fire and theft or something, and then just stick some money in a pot every month to save up for if the unexpected does happen. There is some logic in that, and there is some logic if you take that across your sort of insurance landscape. By the time you've got, a house or whatever, and you've got buildings insurance gets your mortgage, that protects not you but the people you've got the mortgage from. Oh, hello, what have we got here? Golly, distracted, where was I? Yes, by the time you've got all those insurances, some of which aren't legally required, and given you hopefully never make a claim, and I personally have never made a claim on any insurance policy ever, then if I added up all the money I've spent on insurance over my almost half century of life, it'd be quite a lot of money I could have just put in a pot and saved. Of course, the beauty of insurance is you don't know, you hope you're never going to need it, so I'm glad that I haven't had to make a claim. But nonetheless, the amount of money that I must have spent on it over the years does grate a little, given it's something that I've not had to use. So I don't want to be a complete whinger. Well, I am being a complete whinger, but I'm sure insurance has its part to play, of course. If you were struck by unplanned disaster and you're insured and it pays out, absolutely fantastic. and wouldn't you be glad you've got it? And I would take back everything I'm saying now. Of course, insurance is necessary in some cases. Maybe it's fewer cases than we think, but it is necessary occasionally. But of course, you only know how good your insurance is when you actually do make a claim, don't you? Now, going on my experience of actually getting quotes, it's never been very easy. I dread to think how hard it would be to actually make a claim on insurance should I need to. If I had a bike stolen, or, you know, God forbid, had a crash or something and had to repair the bike and it was expensive, then goodness knows what hoops you must have to jump through in order to make a successful claim. I'll leave that to you in the comments to hear how that works, in case you've had the misfortune to have to do that. Oh, it's just wonderful to be out on the bike when it's nice and warm again. 11 degrees now. I'm not all trussed up like a turkey. I've just got my normal kit on, but no thermal underwear, etc. I've just got my normal gloves, no heated grips. Lovely. Bit of blue sky even. Spring is just around the corner. Getting very excited now. Ah, good. That's lightened my mood. I'm not whinging anymore. Okay, so that's pretty much it. I just wanted to get that off my chest. I feel better for whinging about insurance now. I'd be very interested to hear your views on the subject, whether you think I'm being unreasonable or whether you concur. And also, how successful you've been if you've had to make a claim. Is that something you should dread, or is it actually pretty straightforward? And also, let's make this a bit more positive. If you've got an insurance company that's been an absolute pleasure to deal with, let's get them named. Let's find out who the good bike insurance companies are. Alright, hope that's been of some interest or entertainment, and I look forward to speaking to you next time. Until then, this has been the Messenger Flyer. Cheerio.